It is humbling. It's a privilege. It's surreal. Just to be a part of this, I'm all in. I'm all in on this positive future. I'm all in that we can heal some of these rifts. And I think you saw it. You saw soon-to-be President Harris exhibit all those qualities and a grace that America is so hungry for. So I can't tell you. I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here. I've never felt this energy in an awful long time.
Let's go over how different these approaches are. First, with VP pick Tim Walz.
Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did you have yesterday? 2,000 people? I have 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the crowd size.
And leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump.
Trump essentially shared a photo saying that actually one of the photos was doctored and there was no crowd. That's the photo you see there, that there was no crowd at this particular rally. Well, we know, at least according to a Harris campaign official, that it was taken by a Harris campaign staffer and that it was not modified in any way. Of course, this comes as Trump in recent weeks has been making these baseless claims that the Harris campaign pays for her crowd.
A man who is obsessed with ratings, yet sees himself being outdone over and over again.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me and he handed me his Purple Heart. Now I said to him, is that like the real one or is that a copy? And he said, that's my real Purple Heart. I have such confidence in you. And I said, man, that's like big stuff. I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier. Just
a buffoonish thing to say, considering.
I had deferments because of college, like a lot of people did. Numerous deferments because of college, and I had a foot thing, and I had deferment for that.
2 doctors from Queens, New York, helped the president dodge the Vietnam War in 1968.
Dr. Larry Bronstein was a podiatrist who rented a medical office from the president's father, Fred Trump Sr. Bronstein's daughter says that her father diagnosed Trump with bone spurs as a favor to Fred so that he wouldn't have to go fight.
Thus, the governor from Minnesota pounces in his rhetoric.
Donald Trump sees the world a little differently than us. First of all, he doesn't know the first thing about service. He doesn't have time for it because he's too busy serving himself. Again and again and again, Trump weakens our economy to strengthen his own hand. He mocks our laws. He sows chaos and division. And that's to say nothing of his record as president. He froze in the face of the COVID crisis. He drove our economy into the ground. And make no mistake, violent crime was up under Donald Trump. That's not even counting the crimes he committed.
Another big difference in their respective approaches is to free school lunches. Republicans have signaled that they would prefer eliminating the school food community eligibility provision, which about 40,000 schools use in the U.S. Although Trump has tried to distance himself from it, Project 2025 has stated federal school meal programs increasingly resemble entitlement programs that have strayed far from their original objective and represent an example of the ever-expanding federal footprint in local school operations. On the flip side,
it is now law.
One party wants to do the opposite, as Walz signed a bill providing free school lunches. This was the kids' reaction.
Republicans are happy about the pick, too. Some of them ain't, anyway, saying that their side, they're just picking somebody who's so far to the left that his record is going to sink the ticket and guarantee Donald Trump wins back the presidency.
Laughably stupid. Let's go over what they're saying is radical and extreme.
The list of accomplishments for this recent legislative session is impressive. Democrats codified abortion rights, paid family and medical leave, sick leave, transgender rights protections, driver's licenses for undocumented residents, restoration of voting rights for people when they're released from prison or jail, wider voting access, and adopted background checks for private gun transfers, and a red flag warning system to take guns from people deemed by a judge to be a threat to themselves or others. And that's just a few of the things done this session.
This is extreme? In what world? Well, we know what world. A conservative world where they don't even live by Jesus' teachings.
The Great Walls of China has a lot of red flags, but one is glaring: his body language. Here's Twitchy Tim on stage, waving profusely in a very unsettling manner. Very unsettling. Men should not move this way. It's not the way we move. The handshake, probably the most telling. This is Walz and his wife shaking hands like business associates, followed by a weird hug. Now let's compare that to Walz's interaction with Kamala's husband, Doug. Interesting. What's going on here?
Some may call this weird. That's the only adjective that comes to mind.
And the hug is not the way you hug your wife. You know, you hug your wife from the body. You don't hug like this.
Yeah.
Different than he hugged Doug.
Interesting Waters is giving marital advice on how to interact with your significant other, considering he cheated on his wife with an employee at Fox News and ended up leaving her. But here we are. They are avoiding the obvious. However, good policy.
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. Look, they're going to label whatever they're going to label. He's going to roll it out, mispronounce names, to try and make the case. The fact of the matter is, where you see the policies that Vice President Harris was a part of making, Democratic governors across the country executed those policies, and quality of life is higher, the economies are better, all of those things. Educational attainment is better. So yeah, my kids are going to eat here, and you're going to have a chance to go to college, and you're going to have an opportunity to live where we're working on reducing carbon emissions. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have personal incomes that are higher, and you're going to have health insurance. So if that's where they want to label me, I'm more than happy to take the label.
Yeah, isn't that rich? Our Republican colleagues were concerned there would be a tax cut for the wealthiest. You can't make some of this up if you tried. The fact of the matter is that the programs of getting food get to our children as easily as possible has always been a priority. We know there's a lot of families that this is hard. They send you tons of paperwork. You're struggling. You're doing work. You're doing all that. This was meant to make it as easy as possible, knowing that it's a benefit for all of them. The haves and have-nots in a school lunchroom is not a necessary thing. They just feed our children. And so I'm really excited about that.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.